Hare Krishna, welcome to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is. Namo Shivaya Krishna Vashtaptare Shrimati Bhakti Vikas Swamiti Namine Namo Shivaya Krishna Vashtaptare Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nirvisheshe Shunyavadi Bhashyate Vedita Om Agyanati Mirandasya Nyanjana Shalakya Chakshu Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruvena Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitamena Bhutale स्वयं रूपकथामितिं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं गुरो श्रीरुतकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणं नाथं मितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं साधुतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita as it is. Today we are continuing with our previous discussion. We were in, I'm just sharing my screen. We were in shloka number 6, fourth chapter. So ajo apisan avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropistam prakritim swamadhishtaya sambhavami atmamaya. This is where we were. So although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the lord of all living entities, by my internal energy I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So we actually discussed on the point on Prakriti and Atma Maya. So this was the point that we discussed last week. Now we will try to understand why Lord appears. Why does Lord appear? Lord appears to benefit all living beings. Krishna is making a point that he is coming by his own arrangement for sake of benefiting everyone. When he appears, he does not come under the influence of material nature. Material nature always remains under his control. So, Atma Maya means he is coming by his own power and control over the internal energy or his energy. So, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of prisoner coming to the jail. When he comes into a jail, is when he comes, he doesn't go. It's not governed by the rules of the jail. When prime minister, when the prisoner comes to a jail, he is governed by the rules of the jail. When prime minister visits the jail, he just comes to understand the facilities and sees how the protection is given in the jail, how the inmates are maintained. He does not come under the influence of the prison's rules. He is always above the rules of the prison. So prime minister is not coming because he is sentenced for a punishment, sentenced to jail for a punishment. He comes there to visit, to encourage the prisoners, to reform the prisoners. In the same way, when the Lord comes, he is not sentenced to bondage in material existence. Lord comes by his own will to liberate the living entities by imparting knowledge, by giving them the process by which they can come back home, come to God. Krishna is always liberated and hence he is not bound. With Krishna, his body form remains spiritual. That is the mystery of incarnation. So when we see with the normal eyes, we cannot see the spiritual form. When he manifests, then people can interact with him as if he is one of them. Krishna can demonstrate extraordinary power because he is an avatar, he is a supreme personality of Godhead. Duryodhana was interacting with Krishna like a normal human being. He was considering Krishna as a normal human being. Duryodhana was thinking that he was one of the Kshatriya kings. Krishna is one of the Kshatriya kings, and hence he tried to arrest him when Krishna visited Astinapur, the court of Astinapur, as a Shanti Dut. Krishna showed his universal form, his Virat Roop. Duryodhana and all the soldiers got stunned. They were just thinking, what is this? With this, so what is the lesson for us? With this, we can understand that Krishna can show his extraordinary power and opulence whenever he wants. However, it is a great mystery that when Krishna appears in this world, the people think that he is just like an ordinary person. He is powerful and heroic. He has done things others cannot do. Still, they think that he is just another person. All the Kshatriyas at this time did not understand about Krishna. So, when Shishupal blasphemed Krishna during the Rajasuya Yagna, there were other kings who supported Shishupal in his blasphemy of Krishna. The reason is that Shishupal and other kings did not understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Thus, the principle of avatar, incarnation, is always a mystery. This avatar makes Supreme Lord descend from a spiritual plane to the material plane. By incarnation, avatar Lord makes himself accessible to people around him. However, for people whose vision is grounded in matter, rooted in matter, trapped in matter, seeing the Lord, they see the Lord as matter or material. Only the people who are purified and elevated or trying to purify themselves or elevate themselves understand that this person is not an ordinary person but the supreme personality of Godhead. By this, they become devout and they become liberated. Thus, in this verse, we see that the Lord discerns by his own nature, by his own will, and in this verse, he explains how he comes to the material world. And now, in the next three verses, he will explain why he comes to this material world. So, let me share my screen again. So, Ajo Pisan. So, he is saying that how he appears. Here, he is telling how he is appearing in this material world. Next, he is going to tell why he has to appear in this material world. So he's saying, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuktanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So he's saying that whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious principle or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So now we will be discussing some well-known verses. These are the well-known verses. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So next shloka is also a very well-known shloka. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatushkrita dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. This 4.7 and 4.8 are very well-known verses. This verse is well-known in Vedic context as well as outside the Hindu world. So there is one more verse in Bhagavad Gita which is 2.47. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala yedurva ma te sanga asva akarmani. So here karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. This alone people have been quoting. So here what does it mean? You have right to perform the prescribed duty but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. So, this more like a Krishna conscious statement. Now, if you see, go to the previous verse, 4.7, यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजामि. Yada, the first yada refers to whenever, and next yada refers to wherever. So whenever and wherever, this refers to time and place. Glanir bhavati, dharmasya glanir. Dharmasya glanir means whenever there is a decline in the principles of religion. So that whenever there is a discrepancy in religion, abhyuktana madharmasya, predominance of irreligion, then predominance of irreligion, then combining this. So whenever there is a decline in religious principle, and increase in irreligious principle, that time Krishna comes. So Krishna himself manifests. Shrija, Shrijamya, Tadatmanam Shrijamya. At that time, he himself manifests. Shrijamya. So this verse, we need to principally understand what is Shrijamya. Now, if you see this verse 4.4, Arjuna Vacha, Aparam Bhavato Janma, Param Janma Vivasvata. This was a question from Arjuna how Krishna could have instructed to sun god Vivasvan. So, this was the question from Arjuna. So, in 4.5, no, Lord Krishna says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tatva charjuna taniham veda sarvani natvam veta parantapa. So this one says that I remember my previous life, but Arjuna, you do not remember. So that is what Krishna is telling in this verse. So if you go to verse number 4.6, Ajo apisan avyayatma. Krishna says that he is unborn and he is inexhaustible, or he is, without deterioration. So Krishna says he is unborn, he is inexhaustible, and he comes by his own will. Ajo apisanavyalam bhutanam ishwarisam prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atmamaya. So he comes by his own will through his internal energy. So this is mystery of Supreme Personality of God's appearance. So 4.5 and 4.6 tells how appearance of Supreme Personality of God is mysterious. Now he is telling yada yada hi dharmasya, what beckons Lord to appear in this mysterious way. Why he has to appear? So 4.07 says he appears, that is implicit. There is always a tension between dharma and adharma in this world. We have in our heart also a good side and a bad side. We have in art virtuous side and vicious side. In Western world, they call it as a good dog or a bad dog. So both dogs are barking and trying to pull us in each direction. Thus, there is a conflict between higher self and the lower self. The same conflict is reflected in the outer world as conflict between good and evil forces. In people, if the bad side dominates the good side, they become adharmic. If the good side dominates the bad side, then people become dharmic. The best way to understand what is good and what is bad, we need to understand the scriptures. Krishna is saying in this verse, Dharmasya Glanir, whenever there is a decline in Dharma. Dharma has multiple meanings. Srila Prabhupada here in this shloka has used the translation of Dharma as religion. So he is telling decline in the religious practice. In other places, he translates dharma as essential nature. For example, dharma of water is liquidity, dharma of fire is heat and light, dharma of sugar is sweetness. The meaning of dharma is multivalent, thus, it has multiple meanings. The word dharma has multiple meanings. The best way to understand this is this shloka number 18.6 says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayasyani Masucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So this is the translation of this shloka. So in the above shloka, if dharma refers to essential nature, uh, then it is counterintuitive, so we cannot give up our essential nature. Thus dharma has multiple meanings. This can essentially fall into three meanings in broad categories. At the ultimate level, it refers to love and serve Krishna, which is the essential nature of the soul. We are at material level of consciousness. At this level, we have material dharma. So this is prescribed by Varnashrama Dharma's principles. This keeps us in harmony with the world around us. This Varnashrama Dharma essentially fulfills our requirements and doesn't disrupt the environment and doesn't disrupt our spiritual prospect. This dharma at the level of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So varna ashrama dharma helps us in fulfilling the practice of religious principles. We want to get some benefit, that is artha. Kama is to fulfillment of desire, but within the Vedic principles, following of the Vedic principles. Moksha means liberation. So this dharma at material level focuses on dharma, artha, and kama and moksha. This is conditioned dharma or material dharma or swadharma. Then we have transitional dharma. Transitional dharma means varnashrama will purify us, but it is a gradual process. We have in our daily practice, we have what is called a sadhana bhakti, which can take us out of this conditioned life faster. This is practice of sadhana bhakti is our eternal position, or it helps us to go towards the eternal position. So practice of bhakti is a transitional. When we are practicing bhakti, we are not in our eternal position, so we are in a material position trying to follow something to go towards our eternal position. So this is transitional. It means to fix our mind in Krishna in our conditioned life, it is very difficult. Therefore, we follow the principles of bhakti. So this is a struggle, and this will continue as long as we do not purify ourselves. However, sadhana bhakti elevates us from a material platform to a spiritual platform. Bhakti is our eternal position. This is also a dharma, but this is unassailable. That means it cannot be removed. Krishna is here referring to the, in this case, when he says, this one, yada yada hi dharmasya. So Krishna is referring to the social arrangement by which one practices dharma. If this gets disrupted, then there is degradation of society. Krishna appears or incarnates to bring up this dharma. So if you see here, Prabhupada is writing in the purport. I'm just sharing my screen. The word Shrijami is significant here. Shrijami cannot be used in sense of creation because according to previous verse, there is no creation of Lord's body, Lord's form or body, since all of the forms are eternally existent. So that means, therefore, Shajami means Lord manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of the Dwapara Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu, in one day of Burma, he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. So the point is that Shijami may mean creation, but in case of Krishna, it is manifesting. Sometimes when pastimes of Krishna and gopis are described, the word kama is used. I'm just trying to explain how Shrijami is not just creation but manifestation. So when there is a pastime of Krishna and gopis being described, the word kama is used. This does not mean gross, sensuous, low class craving of a male female attraction of this material world. Kama here refers to pure, selfless attraction of gopis to Krishna. This relationship is so intense, to get an inkling of what this is, the word Kama is used. When we have some idea baggage in our mind, then it is easy to find a link easily to that idea when we use a appropriate word. Therefore, when we come across a familiar word, we perceive them on the basis of the idea baggage in our mind. We need to avoid this interpretation and depend on how scriptures and acharyas describe this. So, if you see Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.39, so I'll just go here. Summon Bonum. So if you see this from chapter number 29 in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 29 to chapter number 33. These are the five Pancha Rasadhyaya, the Pancha Rasa Panchadhyaya. So these are the five um, chapters which describe about the rasa dance of Krishna and gopis. So if you see the last shloka in this one, 39, you can see anyone who faithfully hears or describes the Lord's playful affairs with young gopis of Vrindavan will attain the Lord's pure devotional service. Thus, he will quickly become sober and conquer lust, the disease of the heart. So, if you go to 39, विक्रीडितं व्रजवधुभिरिदं च विष्णो श्रद्धान्वितो अनुशृणुयात् अत वर्णयेद्यः भक्तिं परं भगवती प्रतिलभ्य कामम्. So you can see कामम् हृद्रोगम् अस्व अपहिनोति अचिरेण धीरः. So that means what? Anyone who faithfully hears or describes the playful affairs with young gopis of Vrindavana will attain to Lord's pure devotional service. So this will help us conquer the lust, the disease of heart. So what does this mean? So that means, so based on Sukadev Goswami and then subsequent Acharya who have given commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, it is very clear that description of intimate pastimes of Krishna and gopis should clear the mind from all lusty desire. This is far different from the mundane lust or male female attraction. When we hear about these pastimes, the lusty desires in our heart is cleansed. So, how could that be a source of lust or mundane sex attraction? So, the word kamam here is not referring to mundane sexual attraction. This word is not referring to mundane sexual attraction. The description of mundane female, male female attraction in novels, movies, etc., only will increase the lust in our heart. Thus, there is a significant difference between the lust as described in Srimad Bhagavatam and described in Srimad Bhagavatam and lust described in mundane literatures and media. It only helps us to understand the intensity of relationship and separation. So, this kamam actually refers to the material lust in our heart, which will get destroyed. But this entire episode of male female attraction, which is described in the Pancha Rasadhyaya, is not mundane lust. So there is a significant difference in these two. However, and to understand the intensity of relation and separation, this word is used. So now, if we go back to Srijami, Srijami also means manifest. It does not mean creation. In the previous verse only, Lord Krishna told that his form is Ajo Apisa Navyayatma. So if you go to verse number 4.6, Ajo Apisan is unborn. So when he is telling that his body is unborn, so then how is it getting created? It is not getting created. It is manifesting. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport is explaining the Srijami, and he is also explaining what is Dharma. Vedas are also accepted, originally spoken by the Lord Himself to Brahma from his heart. Therefore, principles of Dharma or religion are direct orders of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu Shakshat Bhagavat Paranita. So there is a very good shloka. Dharmam tu Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam Navai Vidu Rishayo Napi Deva Nasiddha Mukhya Asura Manushya Kutonu Vidyadara Charanadaya. So, real religious principles are enacted by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka. to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, vidyadharas, and charanas. So, what does this mean? This means that, and so this sloka is taken from the story of Ajamila. So Ajamila was a very sinful person. So Yamadudas went there to snatch him and bring him to snatch his subtle body and bring to the material world, bring to the Yamaloka. Yamaraja is instructing his messengers about the principles of Dharma to these messengers, because these messengers went to pick Ajamila's soul. There were four Vishnu Dutas who were also trying to prevent the Yamadutas from taking him there, but they said it should come to Vaikuntha. This is not, this Ajamila is not to stay in hell, but he has to be accompanied by these four Vishnu Dutas to Vaikuntha. So Yamaraja then instructs these messengers, because all this time these messengers were thinking that Yamaraj is all in all. He is the topmost boss. But now Yamaraja himself is telling that no, whenever there is a Vaishnava chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, Narayana, then we should not disturb them. Let them be happy in their service to Krishna. We should not disturb them. So the essential principle of religion is very clear, which is getting into the service of the Lord. The Lord wants, the Supreme Personality of Godhead wants the soul to return back home, back to Godhead. For this, whatever is required, Lord does it from His side. So He has given His potency in the form of His name, which Ajamila chanted. And when he chanted that, he was following the highest principles of religion, and hence Vishnu Dutas came to deliver him. So the Lord gives His name, His scriptures. He manifests many holy places, holy rivers. He also gives Himself as a different incarnation. So if you see the purport here, Srila Prabhupada is telling, in each and every incarnation, he speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. But the mission is the same, to lead people to God conscious and obedience to principles of religions. Sometimes he dissents personally, and sometimes he dissents his, he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant or himself in some disguised form. So, his son, this refers to Jesus Christ, and himself in some disguised form, Krishna is referring to. So Srila Prabhupada is referring to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his servant is referring to all the Vaishnava acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. All of them are servants. So avatars which Lord takes is based on time, place, and circumstances. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Particular people under particular circumstances. So Lord Buddha had to reject Vedas. He gave other principles as well. By following those principles and by doing what he instructed, people got elevated. This is because Buddha is Lord. Now, if you see the purport, last few lines, the higher principles of religion begin with acceptance of four orders and four status of social life, as will be explained later. So, this is Chaturvarna, that is, when we say four orders of life, it is Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. Four statuses are like the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. So, the whole purpose of mission of incarnation is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances. So this means because no, Krishna's love for us is unlimited. Therefore, Krishna is incarnating in millennium after millennium. This shows his compassionate nature of the Krishna conscious movement. So you can see that the principles of Bhagavad Gita were spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter to other highly elevated persons, because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 plus 2 equals 4 in mathematical principle. That is true in beginners arithmetic class and in advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics in all incarnations of the Lord. Therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher or lower in varied circumstances. So, he comes in different millenniums because he is compassionate to us. Why he is compassionate? He wants us to come out of the suffering, and that is the main the deliver the suffering soul is the main goal of Krishna conscious movement. That is what Lord Chaitanya advented for. That is what Srila Prabhupada spread all over the world. So Krishna conscious movement is the mercy movement trying to deliver all the people. This is because Krishna himself is very merciful. Okay, so now there are some exclusivist religions which claim that a particular person is the last messenger of God, or this particular person is the only way to God. These ideas are not adding any glory to God. God is great, so why he will make the path to him only one or restrict the path to only one? That claim does not make any sense. Lord is very, very broad minded. Therefore, He will help each and everyone to come to Him. So there is no only one way. This also makes us think that, so when we hear that there is only one path or only one way, then we think that the concept of God is very narrow minded, with limited access only to certain people at certain point of time, based on their connect with some people connected with the God. It is true that there is a way to return to God, but it is not exclusive. This means we need to act in a certain way to go back home, back to God. We cannot act in whichever way we want and go back to God. That doesn't. So here, this is not a license to do whatever we want and we will go back. It is not that. There are multiple ways which Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita. He explains Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, then he explains Bhakti Yoga. So there are many ways, but each way has its own time. It takes its own time. But the easiest one is Bhakti Yoga. So love of Godhead is not monopolized by only one particular method. It can be done in multiple ways, but we have to see that in this particular circumstances, what is the easiest way. Being a human being, we must be intelligent and we must make the right choice by taking the path of bhakti, by taking the path which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended, um, taking the path which Srila Prabhupada has presented to us. So the principle is very broad. When Krishna is telling us yada yada hi dharmasya, it is wherever and whenever. This also brings out a point that there are many incarnations of Krishna. Thus, it is inclusivist verse. So this verse is inclusive. It includes so many places. Yada yada means whenever and wherever. So it's huge. There is a whenever and wherever there is a decline, he will appear. So there is no particular place or particular time. He can appear in any place, any time when there is a declined religion. So Srila Prabhupada explains the difference in various religions. So some religions are esoteric, some religions are exoteric. Exoteric means external, esoteric means internal. Exoteric forms will differ. For example, the so called Hindus offer respects to God by folding hands. Muslim offer namaz by holding hands in like this. Christians also do like this. So they have some external forms. These external forms are all different. However, when we see the principle of offering respect to God is same. When we Hindus pray like this, they are offering to a higher person. When the Muslim is praying like this, offering respect to Allah, he is offering it to a higher power. Same way, when Christians do put this like this, they are also offering respect to a higher power. So there is no wrong understanding. The understanding is clear. Externals are different based on culture. Our principle of offering respect to Supreme is internal. So this understanding, along with Krishna telling yada yada hi dharmasya, that is whenever and wherever, we can infer that Krishna has a broad vision. So, Christianity and Islam are also ways to God, but it was given at a particular time and place and circumstances. We have to see whether it is applicable even in this time, place, and circumstance. In this current condition, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come forward and has given the principle of Harinam Sankirtan, chant the holy name of Lord, and process of bhakti for us to elevate ourselves from the current suffering condition in the material world. So, yeah, so the whole purpose of mission of incarnation is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non manifest only under different circumstances. So, in some places it is not there, it only takes time. So, that means what? Krishna consciousness is dormant, but it will get picked up as soon as devotee starts chanting. When they go for street Sankirtan, automatically Krishna consciousness wakes up in that area. Okay? So it is only that is why we distribute Prabhupada's book, because Krishna consciousness, which is dormant in the heart of a person, can immediately spring up when he starts reading Prabhupada's books. With this note, let us go to the next shloka, 4.8. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna here is telling Paritranaya sadhuna, for deliverance of devotees. Vinashaya chaturshkrita, annihilation of miscreants. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, establish principles of religion. So these are the three purpose. For what? For him to manifest, appear again and again in millennium after millennium. So first is to deliver devotees, second is to destroy miscreants, third is to establish the religion. The previous verse talks about time and place of Krishna's appearance. This verse talks about the purpose. There are people who are adharmic, who are in race, and hence adharma spreads. Adharmic people grab power. When they get power, they persecute dharma. When we say they persecute Dharma, it means adharmic people create trouble for dharmic people. Dharmic people get tormented. So paritranaya sadhana means Krishna comes to protect the people who are troubled by the adharmic people. When Lord Ramachandra appeared, Ravana was demon who was tormenting Devatas. He and his son were creating lot of problems for Devatas and the people in general. Indrajit conquered Indra. Ravana defeated Yamaraja. Yamaraja was instructed by Brahmaji to withdraw to honor the promise that Brahmaji has given to Ravana. So Ravana did not have any challenger left. So he was practically tormenting everyone. All rishis were troubled. Rakshasas ate the rishis because Rakshasas were cannibals. Seeing this, Lord Ramachandra took a vow to kill all these adharmic Rakshasas. So, paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatushkrita. So, while protecting the devotees, the miscreants are killed or annihilated. Then Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. So after Ravana and all ill-natured Rakshasas are killed, Lord Ramachandra established the rule of Dharma under Vibhishana. So Vibhishana also is a Rakshasa, but he was a sadhu. So Srila Prabhupada gives the explanation of who is a sadhu. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has qualifications of Krishna consciousness, wholly and fully is to be understood to be a sadhu. So this is very important part. Then there is one more thing. Such miscreants are dushkritan and applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or dushkritans are described as foolish and lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education, whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as sadhu, even though such person may be neither learned nor well cultured. So, so Lord appears. So here we can see that as far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for Supreme Lord to appear as he to destroy them, as he did with demons Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but Lord especially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees who are harassed by demoniac. So the main purpose why Lord comes is to appease his unallied devotees. Srila Prabhupada, through this purport, wants to emphasize that for Lord to appear, there are only two purposes. The primary purpose is to satisfy the devotees. When the devotees are troubled, they earn to have darshan of Lord and to get delivered from the difficult condition. To answer their prayers, to satisfy them, the Lord appears. The secondary purpose is killing of the miscreants, which is incidental or byproduct of his appearance. Lord Ramachandra could have finished Ravana from within his heart. Ramachandra is Paramatma. He is sitting in heart of Ravana. When Ravana is thumping Hitra, so the purpose of his advent, when Ravana is thumping his heart, that I am the greatest person, Lord Rama could have killed from within his heart. So the purpose of Lord's advent is to satisfy the devotees. The devotees wants to relish his pastimes. The devotees who are present at that time, they get darshan of Lord and get his association. The other devotees hear about his pastime and take his association through Shravanam, Kirtanam and Sparanam. So it is very interesting that Lord's main purpose of coming down is to serve Krishna. So there is a good book written by Sanatan Goswami. So if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, Lord is attempting, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to go to Vrindavan. So he is attempting to go to Vrindavan. This is described in 16. Then he travels to Vrindavan. In 18th chapter, he is visiting Vrindavan. Then 1920, he is instructing Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. So there is one book called as Lagu Bhagavatamrita, which is written by Sanatan Goswami. This is based on teachings which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Goswamis on principle of various avatars. So, so this instructions which are given in by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is given this is taken from this Chaitanya Charitamrita or this instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sanatan Goswami. So Prabhupada actually quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrita in this section. Madhya Leela is quoting this shloka. सृष्टि हेतु ये मूर्ति प्रपंचे अवतारे से ईश्वर मूर्ति अवतार नाम धारे मायातीत परव्योमि सबल अवस्थान विश्वे अवतारी धारे अवतार नाम. The avatara or incarnation of Godhead descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation. So he is coming, descending um, from the kingdom of God. From Vaikuntha is coming to material world, and the particular form of personality of God who so descends is called Avatara. So that manifestation, that form is already there in Vaikuntha, but it comes down to material world, and he appears as Avatara. Such incarnations are situated in spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to material creation, they assume the name Avatara. So this Avatara description is given by Sanatan Goswami in Lagu Bhagavatamrita. So in the next class, next week discussion, we will discuss more on how Sanatan Goswami is describing various avatars of Krishna. There are different avatars are there, and there is a different purpose for each of the avatar. We will discuss about this in our next class. Today, actually, I have not prepared any questions. So, if you have any questions, please ask Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Any questions, Mataji?
No questions, Prabhu.
Okay, fine. So, I think in the next class, let me also write down some questions from this topic so that it is interest. Okay, so if there are no questions, then we'll stop here. Thank you very much for joining. Vachakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvayavcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. गौर ब्रह्मानंदे हरि हरि बोल, हरि 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 हरे कृष्णा.
Thank you, Prabhu.
थैंक यू माता जी. हरे कृष्णा.
Krishna.